Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633, and today is yet another review of my Blast from the Past reviews for the month of August, which I will be continuing with yet another Armada figure. Now, this one is none other than Tidal Wave. Now, I forgot exactly what the name of the class was. I think it was Ultra or something. So it's been a while. They had some very strange names like Giga-Cons and Max-Cons and all that. I forgot exactly what Tidal Wave went under, ironically. But overall, I think the toy is very nice, and even though it might not have the best amount of articulation, it definitely has aged decently over the time. Now, I have to admit, the thing that is weird is that in the American version they named him Tidal Wave, but if I remember correctly, in the Japanese version they named him Shockwave or something of that similar matter, because ironically, he was actually in a more Shockwave color scheme, and it was actually released like that in the Japanese version under the Takara line. But the American version, they actually completely recolored it, and now it's just this strange colors that wasn't even on the American show, since Tidal Wave actually had the Shockwave colors. So it is a bit strange. Armada was kind of a weird season because half of the season released leading up to most of the series, America was getting the episodes first. So a lot of things kind of bounced around in terms of the toys and various other things. So it was a very strange season, and not once has Transformers ever done like that before, again in the future. But anyways, we'll now go into the articulation points. His shoulders on ratchets, which allow full movement, can also bend in and out. And he technically has a second one, but that's mainly due to transformation. He has no head articulation, just the way that he's designed, and his head actually wasn't fully out there. He does have a single elbow bend, and it can swivel, all on ratchets. He does have finger articulation, kind of, but it doesn't really serve any purpose since he doesn't have any weapons other than the ones obviously attached to his body. He does have waist articulation, which is pretty good, especially for Armada toy. He does have full-on hip movement, which will just move the arms so we can get the hip movement out of the way. He can also bend forward and back, so it looks pretty good there. But he doesn't have any knee movement, but he does have this weird sideways move that some of the G1 toys similarly had just by transformation. And his feet can pivot just a bit, once again due to transformation. Now you can probably already see I'm missing the two wing flaps, which he actually has two wing flaps when he transforms into the individual forms, since, strangely enough, he actually was not really a combiner, but he's consisted of 3 vehicles, which he has transformed a couple of times on the show. It's been a while since I've seen Armada, but I remember correctly, he actually did that quite a bit on the show. But anyways, we'll now go into the transformation. First, we're going to turn these around, and then we're going to disconnect it, since he's actually a parts former. We're going to disconnect the entire body. And first, we're going to work on the arms. Basically, what we're going to do next is attach this. And then, we're going to close up the hands and just leave it like this. Next, from here, we're going to turn this around. But before that, we're going to collapse the head into the body, which it has gotten kind of rough over the years. We're going to turn these around, face these forward, and then turn this entire component around. Since we got that out of the way, we're going to bend these back into position, so they look like this. And once again, as I stated, that the joints have gotten pretty rough over the years. And then we're going to go into the legs. We're going to close off these leg pieces. We're just going to kind of transform it like this, and leave it like that. We're going to take this component and reattach it. And then we're going to open this up, attach pieces together. Turn this entire component around. Turn these around. I'm going to collapse these in. We're going to peg them together here. There we have Tidal Wave in his large fortress mode. Now, I have to admit, I really like the design of this in the show, especially when he first appeared in the show. He was very intimidating. It was pretty awesome. I even like the toy up to this day. The only thing I don't like about it is that this gives me horrible memories of the Armada video game on the PS2, since getting onto Tidal Wave was a real pain. What's cool is that since he is a part of the Armada toy line, he does a mini-com, which is actually hidden inside here cleverly. Here we have Ramjet. correctly, that's actually this name. I'm not sure if that was the name of the repaint or the original one, but here's Ramjet, which is a very, very small mini-con. He's almost like full-on Micromaster scale. As you can see, he's this very tiny plane, and it's really funny how small he is. To transform it, all you need to do is turn this around, push this forward, collapse the wing piece, and then pull out the hands first, actually, since they are actually in the way. Make sure that this piece fully collapses so that you can see the head. I'm going to pull these back. Let's see why the head is having issues. It should collapse all the way down, but for some reason... Actually, no. I forgot. Sometimes... I did forget it's been a while, so you're supposed to keep that out. And then, there you have Ramjet in his robot mode. And I have to admit, this is not the most impressive robot mode in existence. It's very small, and he doesn't really have any more points of articulation. His hands can kind of go up and down. He does have this weird abdomen crunch, but it doesn't really serve any purpose. And that's pretty much it for the robot mode. We're just going to quickly transfer it back into vehicle mode. Come here. And then, here we have him back in his vehicle mode. Now what's cool is that all throughout the body he has a bunch of different features. Right here, you can place on Ramjet. I'm just going to do here since it's kind of hard to pull in. Okay. It does have this gimmick where the turrets turn. So that's really cool that it has that gimmick there. And then you can just kind of place Ramjet anywhere throughout the base here. This technically pushes down because what it is that this piece allows you to combine with Galvatron or Megatron from Armada. So he actually had a lot of purposes in the show, which is actually quite amazing. You can also attach Ramjet any on the pegs here, which has got mini-con ports all throughout the body. What's also cool is that in here, there's like some kind of medical bay kind of thing, where if you pull these out, it becomes like seats. So that's cool that it actually has these little play features. It's got a ton of play value. I really enjoy that. However, he actually has yet another function. He actually can transform into 3 individual vehicle modes, which I'll be back to get a closer look at those modes. And now we're back with the more situated camera. Before we go on to the individual modes, we're going to just show that it does roll on pretty okay. But the problem is that on a hard surface it doesn't make that loud sound since they're all plastic wheels. But what's cool, as I mentioned earlier, is that he does have another function. What happens is that you're going to split everything apart like normal. And then you're going to collapse these, and there you have one of the parts. Then we have this, which is another component. So it looks like this. And then we're going to close this off. We have the third component. So what's cool is that he actually is somewhat a combiner, since he does combine with Megatron or Galvatron. He also can turn into these individual modes, so he is a combination of 3 different vehicles. Just to show again, we're going to put Ramjet back inside, which unfortunately you're going to have to close the wings in order for it to even fit in there. You kind of need to bend the nose cone up as well, since he has to be in a kind of somewhat collapsed position in order for him to fit at all in there. Then we're just going to collapse this entire component, which can get stuck. I guess a Ramjet, that's possible. There we go. So, as you can see, he does turn into the 3 individual components, and that's really cool. Each of them have its own set of wheels, so they do roll. This one is not as loud as the other 2, because these ones are hard plastic. And I still really like the design for Tidal Wave. To transfer back into robot, we're just going to separate the arms. Going to turn these around. Turn the entire body around as well. Reveal the head. Open up the legs. turn this entire component around. Like so. Turn the waist. So it looks like this. Push up the feet. We're just gonna keep it down like this. Turn the arms. Reveal the fingers. Both sides. Connect these together. And then we're going to put it back together, but one more. I'm trying to situate the camera one more time. So now, in Tidal Wave, back in his robot mode. Now overall, I think Tidal Wave is a really nice toy, even up to this date, and he has aged decently enough, since he does have a lot of play features, and the overall design is very nice. I really enjoy Tidal Wave even on the show. Now, while he wasn't the smartest character by any means, he was also one of the most powerful on the Decepticon team altogether. So, yeah, just thinking that it was a giant kind of mobile base ready to help the Decepticons, which was kind of weird since he was a lot bigger in the show, but he does slightly shrink down, I think, when combining with Megatron and so on, so it is a bit of an animation cheat there. But overall, I still think this is a very nice figure, and if you happen to like Armada, this is actually a pretty good figure to get a hold of. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hero Talk for the latest in Hero News. Also, check out the Giga-Con blog, which is a subsidiary site for Hero Taku. Also, check out the other channels down below, including the WRW podcast. And also check me out on Twitter under Darkon633. And tune in next week for another Armada review. I'll see you on YouTube. Bye.